Okay, hello. Uh, this is my very late video on the topic that was a very good topic. Uh, I'm going to come at it from a different angle. Uh, Many of the big dogs of the OSR, the old school Renaissance, on the more conservative side or right wing side, or I would dare even say traditional, which would circumvent all the politics if we just played the game traditionally in that style, regardless of the system. But anyway, talking about a 5E insurrection. Now, um, heard about this so many times. You know, I'm just going to say this. I'm going to give myself lots of credit here. How many times have I correctly posted about something like this, an insurrection, an invasion of WOTC, Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro, etc., by using the DM's Guild to publish really kick-ass, non-political, non-woke, old-school content to get to some of those 40 million plus players. Um, Guess what? Nobody in the OSR. There's a few big wigs out there. There's a few that have made some enough money to live off of it and such. But for the most part, you're not a part of that giant pool of the 40 million plus players. And I would say that who knows how large or small the OSR is. You know, I only see a few thousand people circulating in the industry of the OSR, if that's even a word we could use. Uh, but the idea of not invading 5e when it has the most players ever, kind of like the 80s, has been reborn into a larger scale. Uh, Saying that it doesn't have 40 million players, nah, you're wrong. Okay, you don't. I mean, there's sales and there's money, and these corporate guys, that's what they like. But um, also saying it's going to implode on itself, I would definitely say some of the more recent, more woke ass books are the sales are far lower than they are, but they're still way better than than what we would think. They're going to continue to release a lot of more vanilla, rainbow, uncool stuff with occasional really cool adventures here and there. But it's not going to implode on itself. That's not going to happen. You've got, movies coming out. You've got the Legend of Vox Machina, which on that, that's it's the show is a D&D show, basically an anime like what we've all been. And I'll make another video on that. What we've all been wanting and waiting for, some kind of D&D entertainment. Um, but anyway, there's also the movie, the D&D movie coming out, the TV series and such. I gotta say, the Wizards of the Coast management's reaction to the Vox Machina um, fun Kickstarter was the biggest no duh in the universe. I mean, and hey, how come there's no OSR people out there with some animation talent making something really kick ass? People would eat that up. I mean, just imagine an old school D&D uh, movie, with the monsters and the dragons and the spells and the large amounts of character death would be so awesome to watch. But I digress. Um, but the OSR, some say it's violent, sexy, submersive, and funny, and something that Hasbro can't compete against. But let's be for real. The Hasbro Wizards of the Coast in their planning of 5e definitely looked at the OSR because they really had a point. They had a point. They had like, hey, the way we used to play back in the day was really kick ass. But as in, you know, they took from the OSR, they got some suggestions, and then they left the OSR in the dust for corporate thought processes of more let's be more woke. But Are they going to go woke and get broke? I doubt it. The movie and the Vox Machina anime and all that is going to make this even more popular, unless the movie completely sucks, or the TV series, and hopefully some non-corporate talent. And nothing wrong with corporations, but some more independent little talents come out there and start you know coming out with some of their little animated series and stuff. There's little web shows and stuff, but I'm really talking about just a gritty old school gaming experience put in animation would be so awesome. But anyway, that's another story. Um, but basically, the OSR, it's gonna keep being like it do. You know what I'm saying? It's just gonna you know continue on. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to fade out. I would say its peak is over, and unless something exciting comes out, that brief run I call the OSR dream age of the OSR blogosphere, the Google groups, and that was a pretty damn cool time watching uh, the old school Renaissance come out with the retro clones and the neo clones and such. Everybody was making one that was in the sphere or trying to. I tried. When it comes to layout and grammar and shit, I'm a talentless groghead or whatever you want to call it. Uh, but my game is called Back to the Dungeon role playing game. It's made to be printed out as a zine. If you want a copy, go get it. I mean, hell, I might start just giving it away soon. But anyway, uh, it comes in a bundle, by the way. Pretty neat. Print it out yourself. Hey, now anyway, um, but unless we take from that OSR dream age, the blogosphere, the Google groups, and come up with some kind of unified system or some kind of event module or something. I mean, it's the old school Renaissance OSR, old school revival. I call it old school Renaissance. Hell, without any of y'all's other definitions, it is gonna just be like it do. It's just gonna keep on. It's went uphill, it faded, and it's gonna basically stay where it's at. Prove me wrong. Come out with something really kick ass. You know, and I'm not, when I say the dream age, not to be confused with Sword Dream. The more SJW woke version of the OSR. By the way, more power to you. Y'all wanted to do your thing and you did your thing. So, hey, if you're publishing stuff and you're happy uh, so just do what you do. More power to you. Because I'm kind of tired of the politics myself, getting sick of it. But like I've suggested more than once, for a bunch of the controversial OSR types, and you know who you are, the mention of your names makes some people short fucking circuit. So, should start their own critical role type live play games, okay? Uh, and then I've been explained that, the AD&D and the old versions of the game, Osric and all that, can't be made all flashy. Oh my ass! You like no you okay? That means you're not the one to do it. You are not the one. Okay. Um, but I gotta see. I mean, I'm seeing more and more old school gaming AD&D Osric. Or I ain't seen no Osric, but Swords and Wizardry. That's just Swords and Wizardry guys been putting out podcasts and video live plays for a very long time. Uh, Basic fantasy guys are doing it. You know, all I can say is you guys, this is the events that can get you out there. Just a few of them are really good. Find the players that at least attempt to do voices and a little bit more flashier. And get these people together and basically make your own OSR critical role type of live play game. I really think it would go over. Um, but the OSR definitely made an impact in all of the new gaming because it did have a point of how fun the old school style of play was and still is. And by the way, you can play old school with 5e. It can do that. That'll be another video. But once again, how many times have I correctly, and I know this would work, posted about evading the Wizards of the Coast DMs Guild and 5e by publishing really kick-ass, non-political, non-woke, old-school content to get to the 40 plus million players. 40 million people, okay? I don't know about all y'all, but I do my job. I make lots of money. Uh, Sometimes, when I choose to. I'm to that point in life where I just don't care anymore. I've got everything paid off, so uh, by no means rich or anything like that. But I would love to make a living somehow doing gaming stuff. But you got to admit, the system itself, 5e, is very simple. Some would even say it's an old school system. I mean, the monster stats could have been shorter. See my Back to the Dungeon RPG zine for short monster stats. Really easy to run and easy to play. But anyway, uh, but back to 5e. Any suggestion of any other system or using the OSR with a player base of not 40 million players is not even the battlefield and is an automatic failure. And I've had some people in various times I've posted this go, well, this game did really well. It's got 20,000 people. That's not 40 million. And by all means, I still buy and collect OSR games. And I once in a while buy some Wizards of the Coast games. But pretty much, I would love to see some really kick-ass content. And do you get what I'm putting down here? Get a bunch of you OSR guys, get off your asses and get some people together, and don't write a whole book. Just write a chapter, 3 or 4 pages or more. Like they did with Candlekeep. Have a really neat setting. But when I looked over the production value of the Candlekeep book, and with its collection of some non-woke and some gamer SJWs and some race pimp writers. I'd posted back then, why can't we do this with the DMs Guild and 5e? Because there's some people that have made some serious money on DMs Guild. And this, of course, be split between a bunch of people, so we're just talking about a tiny amount. Just something to put a little bit of spending cash for Christmas. But imagine coming out with a big, giant, hardcover book that is a full Insurrection inside Wizards of the Coast 5e. The reaction alone with the controversial OSR personalities would make sales beyond belief, I think. I mean, a few million upset woke gamers, while all the rest wouldn't be. The rest would be going, wait a second, what is this? Oh my god, these adventures are cool, a few million upset woke gamers trying to gatekeep this book would have no politics in it, because one thing we cannot, if we were all to get together and make this big giant book, is what I'm suggesting. It just needs to be kick-ass old school adventures, old school style, using 5e, a huge art-filled hardcover, an insurrection due to sales. They could not stop it. I mean, think about this. I mean, I'm always been a dreamer and accused of it, and hey, I'm doing it again. We're going to have to do, if we're going to do this with the DMs Guild, I mean, this is just a suggestion here, I mean, I'm not a project manager type, but for stuff like this, but hell, I find some people with talent that can do it. But we need to pick out an area in the Forgotten Realms and make a FRAZ. That's a Forgotten Realms Autonomous Zone. Make our own FRAZ. Okay, I think it's a good idea. So anyway, I guess I've beat this dead horse to this live horse that's about to die. I don't know, to death. But what do you think? I know some people's suggestion of the insurrection into 5e was to use these OSR games or use my game. But no, if you're gonna be, you have to be in the battlefield. Like some people suggested, instead of making a book with 5e, let's use a second edition clone or some other version of OSR clone that nobody even knows about. Listen, if you're going to do an insurrection, you have to be in the battlefield. If you go to Ted's yard 2 houses over and go try to fight his dog in his garden, that's not fighting the battle. You have to go to the battlefield. Okay, so okay, I probably pissed some people off and made some people happy and hopefully made everyone laugh. But But anyway, so next video I think will be about back to old school play in 5e, because I've mentioned that topic before, and I hear the criticism so many times, you can't do old school play with 5e. Well, no, you're wrong. You can. So, anyway, signing out. Hope everyone has a good one.